I was 14 years old, hanging out with my friend Jesse, who was also 14. We were in the living room playing Call of Duty. His parents weren't home for the night, so we were being as loud as we wanted. We were doing nothing but playing video games and eating junk food all night. And eventually, since his parents weren't home, he convinced me to just stay over for the night. So after Jesse went upstairs to go to the bathroom, I went downstairs to call my mom in private and tell her I would be staying over by the time I got back upstairs. Jesse was back, and he just stared at me with a confused look on his face. I asked him what was wrong, and he said he thought that I was upstairs, as he thought he heard someone in the bedroom next to the bathroom. I assured him I was downstairs making a phone call, and he just looked back upstairs with a concerned look. He walked upstairs, and I followed him. He stopped at the door to the bedroom and put his ear up against it. He then opened the door and peeked into the room. It was dark, but I could see there was enough light in there to be able to scan the room. We didn't see anything, so he shut the door. I told him he was being paranoid. As we went back downstairs to play more video games, we turned the volume back up loud and resumed playing. After the match ended, the loading screen came up, along with the silence that usually accompanies loading screens. That's when me and Jesse both looked at each other. Jesse hit the mute button as we listened to what we were sure was somebody grunting from upstairs in that bedroom. But soon after the silence from the television, there was silence from upstairs as well. Jesse whispered to me that someone is hiding up there. They must have stopped making the noise as soon as there was silence down here. Jesse whispered to me that we need to leave through the back door right now, as it was much quieter than the front door. I agreed, and we headed outside to the back door. As soon as we were outside, Jesse got on the phone with the police. As I looked up to the bedroom window for some stupid reason, I turned on the flashlight on my phone and aimed it up to the window. About 3 seconds later, my heart dropped as someone stepped into view from behind the glass. But only for a brief moment. They seemed to crouch down under the window after spotting us. Jesse saw it too. That's when we actually took off down the block. We only came back when we saw a police car parked outside with its lights on. Jesse unlocked the front door for the two cops, and they went inside to investigate, as me and Jesse were outside waiting by the car. We saw him as in the guy who was surely at the window. He was coming out from the backyard, walking really fast, yet also clearly trying to keep quiet. This man was really tall, like 6'5" or something, and he looked to be mid-40s. Me and Jesse ran inside and screamed for the cops to come outside. But by that time, he was gone, and we had no idea which direction he could have gone in. Inside of the bedroom that the man was in, a giant cloth bag had been pulled out from under the bed with certain articles of clothing obviously missing. There was also money missing from the desk drawer, and the desktop computer had been turned on. We never saw or heard of this man. It was just another normal day of school. I think I was in 10th grade. I want to say. It was right after third hour anyways. It was lunch time, so my friends and I were goofing off, like we always would. We would all eat for maybe 5 minutes and spend the rest of the 20 minutes playing games and messing around and such. Well, about halfway through lunch, the PA went off, and so that we were having an emergency lockdown, which was definitely kind of scary. This is an emergency alert. Please follow lockdown procedures, go into the nearest room or building, lock the door and turn off all lights, because usually, if it were just a drill, then the principal would say that, or at least warn us before. So we knew to expect a lockdown in the near future. I vividly remember Mr. Harrison sounding a bit panicked when he announced the lockdown too. My friends kind of thought that was part of his gig to make it seem real, but I had a bad feeling about it now. This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life, and I still honestly have no clue why we did this. But after they shut the school's power off, my friends thought it would be funny to sneak out of the cafeteria through a side entrance that led upstairs to one of the main hallways of our school. I decided to tag along with them just because I'm not really sure. I just did. After walking around for a little bit, we all split up, and at this point, it was only me and Andrew or 3 other friends ventured off by themselves. Somewhere it was so dark in the hallways that we could barely even see what was in front of us. The only source of light we had was coming from the sun shining through the windows. But even then, it was a pretty cloudy day, so the outside didn't have much light to offer us. Then out of nowhere, we heard 3 gunshots right in a row, followed by screaming. Andrew and I, of course, started freaking out. So he ran outside and sprinted as fast as we could. I'm happy we were close to the main entrance of the school, because I'd much rather have been outside than hiding in a bathroom or something. But now we were in the front of the school, and we knew we were sitting ducks for any of the teachers or police to find us. We didn't want to get in trouble for sneaking off when we shouldn't have been. So we ran behind the school and headed straight for the woods. We had to run across the soccer field to get there, but we made it across without being seen. Then we heard police sirens getting closer. I knew they were there for whoever the hell just fired the gun, but we were still paranoid that the school or police were looking for us, for running off as well. I've had friends who have gotten into some trouble for truancy before, and I was definitely on edge about everything that was happening in general, as any normal person would be. This was a pretty serious situation, so we were freaking out for a while, and we were trying to calm each other down. We also didn't want the police or anyone to think we had anything to do with that psycho with a gun, while the police weren't searching for us, and they literally had no idea we were missing in the first place. Nor did anyone in the school, but we pushed our luck by continuing hiding, because eventually the police found us as they were doing a required sweep around the premises. The police ended up finding us, and when they did, they detanged us until they caught the actual suspect they were looking for. Apparently, the kid who let off the gunshots was someone who went to a whole different school, and he was only a year younger than me. Nobody got hurt, thankfully, but the kid said he was coming to kill some girl specifically, but he failed something weird. I want to add, real quick, is how eerily similar me and this kid look. We were both the same height, same color hair and hairstyle, and we were dressed very similar that day. The police quickly figured out it had nothing to do with it though. After we explained everything, I learned my lesson that day for sure.